my favorite show out of all of them that I've done would probably have to be You Didn't Say It Was Haunted, because that one was the most fun to work on, and it was, I thought that I was a minor role, but everyone said that I was pretty important in it. So I finally got a time to be a star after working so hard to get there.
Well, they would always have to be musicals, just because, you know, I'm a musician as well, and I love doing Pit. My favorite musical, man, I'm a huge fan of The Music Man, because I love the orchestral part in that, and I just thought that was like one of the greatest shows we did. So, The Music Man, for sure.
Okay, so my favorite show of high school would probably be between Get Smart and You Didn't Say It Was Haunted. I love Get Smart because it was my first show with Bonzi and I was a sophomore, and it was definitely like the first place like I found that I like could come home, like I could call theater home, and it was just such a classic with Bonzi show, you know, comedy, Mr. Calvert of course, and just like the whole like atmosphere was just very like what I think of like Wabansi theater, and it's just like great memories in that show. And then my other favorite show would have to be You Didn't Say It Was Haunted, because it was my last show, of course, and I think I went into it thinking it was going to be my last show, like, of course, and I think I went into it thinking it was going to be my last show, like, knowing that I didn't have anything to look forward to. It was just like, that was it, and I could look forward to just what was happening in the moment, and that made it really special, and I love the show, and, you know, it's just another, like, really good Wabansi show, and I loved working with Miss Pablo. And everyone always came into rehearsals smiling, and I was so happy. It was very like stress-free, even though we had a lot of like snow days and a lot of obstacles to go, you know, through. We still made it, and it was still a great show and one of my favorites. Okay.
Okay, so I think my favorite show was probably Hairspray or Radium Girls. Because with Hairspray, I had all of my friends with me, and I met so many new people, and I learned so much, and it was only like my third show. And then with Radium Girls, I really loved it because it was the first show I ever acted in, and it was just so much fun to be on stage and behind it at the same time. And I learned a lot once again, and I met so many new people that I will love and cherish forever.
My favorite show at Wabansi was probably Hairspray my junior year. Just because of all the extra involvement that everyone got to do and the amount of sound stuff that I actually got to be involved with during that show.
My favorite show would definitely be In the Heights, and it's basically because I was very experienced at that point, and I feel like being in the booth, I knew that show the most. I was in the booth for other shows, but I feel like I really connected with people during that show, and I felt like it was a show that all the cast and crew really came together in, and I love that aspect of all of us being like one big family, and especially since it was my last show, it had a lot of meaning for me, and it was very emotional.
My favorite show was Radium Girls, because out of the 4 years that I've been in theater, it's the one that was the most powerful, I'd say.
I really enjoyed being in the musical this year, and that was because all the people were great, and we had a lot of work to do, but it was always fun.
My favorite show would probably have to be In the Heights, because it was my last show and it had just such an impact on me personally, with getting to work with Mr. Calvert and work with the tech, and it was just such a great experience for me as my last show at Bonzi before I go off to college.
My favorite memory was definitely all the crew kids had come into the shop and we had ordered Jimmy John's together, and everyone sat around with their sandwiches and started eating, and we were all sitting on the different set pieces that we had built, and someone started playing Bohemian Rhapsody, and we all started singing it together, and it started with one person singing and then everyone just started singing. Then Dustin Barbary and Tyler Faber started playing air guitar and crawling across the floor, just going hard on the song, and it was just a real moment of, it was a very raw moment of everyone coming together, and we all just put aside the stress of the show and just had a really fun moment together during dinner, so that was definitely one of my favorite memories from theater.
My favorite memories from every show would probably just be opening night, because we get so much more energetic every time we do an opening show, and performing in front of an audience is really a thrill.
Favorite memory? Freshman play, just because that's like when I really got started in acting again. I kind of did it earlier in middle school productions. You know, it was fun, but really like seriously starting high school theater. The freshman play, for sure. Yep, Gabe, don't know what that's gonna be in there. He's back there. But just like the whole process of realizing like what it takes to really be a true actor, and you know, growing from that, you know, dealing with like stage fright, stuff like that. I grew a lot during that show.
Okay, my favorite memory from drama is probably seeing my first Broadway show with everybody. It was Les Mis, my sophomore year, and it was just so impactful being with the whole group and seeing my first Broadway show. It was so amazing.
My favorite memory I made with theater was meeting all the new people and getting involved, and it was really nice.
So my favorite memory would definitely be like everyone just messing with me backstage, because I don't know, I guess I'm like a person to joke around with a lot, so yeah, they like to tell me I broke things and ask me to do things I didn't know how to do, and I felt like, one, that taught me a lot, and two, it was just kind of funny because I like to make fun of myself.
Young girls, at the very beginning of all the rehearsals, Mr. Calvert called me off of Katie's phone telling me that if I didn't get in rehearsal in the next 2 minutes that I was out.
Well, now, my favorite memory from drama would have to be when Tucker first started drama. That was Sense and Sensibility when we were sophomores. And he comes over to me and just starts saying, "Hello, Mr. Gabus." And I say, "Why did you call me that?" And he says, "I don't know, I think it fits." And so in return, I start calling him Mr. Tumnus. So nowadays, whenever I see him, he goes, "Hello, Mr. Gabus." I go, "Hello, Mr. Tumnus."
Well, theater's affected my life because as a freshman, I didn't really know what I liked or what I wanted to do, and so I did talk for the winter show, and I just kind of kept doing every show because the people kept talking to me, started making friends, and now theater is what I'm going on to college for, and it's just kind of become what I want to do for the rest of my life.
It's changed my life. It's given me something to do. You know, it's kind of filled out my day, and it's really, you know, interacting with everybody behind the scenes, both on stage, because I was able to do both sides. It changed my life because it really showed me how to be part of something like greater than you are. It's really easy to be like, oh, I didn't get the lead, or oh, I didn't make it to like director or something, but like every single part you play is important, and you should play it well. And that's been one of the largest takeaways I've had from theater.
Alright, well first off I have to start off by saying theater has made me insane. It definitely has. It's made me a lot more of an outgoing person, and it's let me break out of my shell a lot. When people first get to know me, I'm normally a little more reserved, but then people in tech that know me don't know me like that. They know me as very outgoing, so it's definitely allowed me to break out of my shell. Theater has also given me a home. This place and all of you guys are my home. You're my family. And I wouldn't ever take that for granted. I love you guys so much. It's basically given me a place where whenever I'm stressed out, it's just a good place for me to go. And even though it gets insane sometimes and we have our fights, I know that I'm there for every one of you, and I know that you'd always be there for me. So it's really given me a place to call home, and a place where I always have family and friends to go to. So it's just really impacted my life in a positive way.
4 years ago today, I didn't know I wanted to be as serious of an actress, and I really found my calling through this program.
So theater has changed my life in so many ways. I've learned so many things, met so many new people, and I've met my best friends here. And there's no one I would rather be around than the people here. These people are all so amazing, and what's the question?
How theater changed your life?
Oh, and so it taught me so much, and now I know a lot, and I know that there's always a home to come to, and that's Waubonsie Theater.
I would say theater made me more open to people. I met a lot of people here, and I think I will always remember my time doing theater.
Theater has made me a lot more outgoing. It's given me the opportunity to work with people and equipment that I probably would never have gotten a chance to work with before. And it's given me a real sense of community that I really wouldn't be able to trade for anything else.
Well, now, before theater, I would audition for musicals in middle school, and I would never get into any of them. So at that point, I thought that I wasn't good enough for pretty much anything. So when I wasn't even going to audition for the freshman show because I thought, why bother? I'm not good enough. But I did, and I got in. And after that, I kept getting in and getting more important parts every time. So without theater, I don't know where I would be today. I'd probably be in a deeper, darker place than I am right now. But theater really did help and save me.
Okay, so my advice to all of you would be do every show. No matter how busy you get, if you can just pop in from time to time, you never know what comes around your next corner in life, and this is always a place for you to call home. And I definitely think that there are endless possibilities in this program. And the 4 years go by so fast. Like, you think when you're a freshman, you're just like, I just want to get out of here. Like, it's going by so slow, and then by the time you're graduating, like, I was at graduation last Sunday. What is it? Like, I didn't think that everything would go by this fast, and so it goes by too fast. So don't take anything for granted. Do every show that you can, and try new things. So if you're a techie, try acting. If you're an actor, try teching, and be a family. Like, you don't have to have this feud between actors and techies. Like, join together because you're all such cool people. So you should all just come together as one, because that's really what theater is about. Everyone coming together.
My advice for any underclassmen is to definitely cherish every moment you have here, because as a senior, those 4 years, they fly by so fast. And I know everyone probably said this, but 4 years feels like 2 weeks in this school, and basically you need to cherish every moment of that because they're all so important. And I know I only joined tech as a junior, but I wish I would have started it as a freshman because I have so many memories within these 2 years that I wish I made more.
My advice for you is to... Advice. I have to say to never lose the go-get-em attitude. It's your time to shine. No matter what anyone says or how small you think the part is, it's going to get better. The part is important to the show, and just always give it your all. No matter what you may face, you give them, the audience, something to remember.
The best advice that I probably could give is to do as much as you can in theater. Do acting, do tech, do whatever you can to be involved, because every show creates such great memories that you'll just never forget forever. So just do as much as you can while you're here and enjoy it.
My advice for next year is you should get involved. It is nice. You meet nice people and you have always something to do, I would say.
My advice to all underclassmen would be, if you get a call from Mr. Calvert, don't answer it. That's his
Advice. Do it all. Like, don't be like, oh, I'm just an actor and stick to acting, or oh, I'll only show up for the musicals and do pit. Or just do everything. Act, tech, and if you're like into music and have that ability to do the musical as well. Because being involved in everything, it makes you appreciate it so much more since you've seen everything. You know, when you're acting, you have knowledge of what the work went into the set and what happened backstage. It just makes the whole experience so much greater. And it's more fun, too, being able to do everything.
My advice to anyone in the theater program at Waubonsie Valley would be to stay as involved as you can. We've got a really, really, really good program, and it has so much to offer you. You just have to try and be part of it.
I want to thank Mr. Calvert and Ms. Peplow for just being amazing directors throughout my 4 years. And I just want to thank everybody that I've worked with in all of our shows. It would take me too long to thank each one individually, but just, you know who you are. If you've worked in, or even just talked with me, you have helped me some way throughout all of my theater experience. Thank you.
Shout out to my man Greg, working the soundboard for the last musical, because everyone knows I cannot ignore Matt. He was great. He was really, you know, patient with me, showing me the ropes. So shout out to Greg. Shout out to like everyone in the booth, just because like we're boothies. Yeah. Yeah.
Is this also including other seniors, or?
Yeah, anybody.
I thought it was okay. Well now, of course I'd have to thank Miss Peplow for giving me my start. I'll have to thank Brian and Tucker and Brendan and Matt and Chris and Brandon and Maddie and Kira and Naomi and Lila.
Oh, you totally forgot her name.
Just mispronounced. And Anthony, because he was in the freshman show with me, and Aaron and Katie, and the list could go on forever. Pretty much anyone who's ever worked the show. I'm sorry if I didn't say your name exactly throughout this, but just let you know, everyone, thank you for everything.
I would like to make a shout out to the techies because they are the hardworking for the shows.
First, I'd like to make a really heartfelt thank you to Mrs. Peplow. She pushed me to join our theater program when I really didn't want to, and it has made me a better person for that. I'd also like to thank Mr. Calvert for all the direction he's given me, technical and otherwise, and for supporting me throughout my theater career. And lastly, I'd really like to thank everyone who I've ever worked with in our theater program, because I do believe each of you has a lot of individual values, and you're all very skilled in what you do, so thank you.
Okay, so I'd like to give a shout out to one person in particular, which is Jen, because she got me into this whole theater mess, and I feel like without her I wouldn't have done anything in high school. Shout out to all the friends that I've made and everyone who I now consider family, because you are all so important to me, and I don't know what I would do without you guys. Shout out to Mr. Calvert for being an amazing teacher and mentor along these couple years, and shout out to Bonzi Theater for making me the person I am today.
Shouts to my main boys, David Calhow, Brett, and Timothy.
Okay, so first off, I have to give a shout out to Kat and Kira, because if I don't, they're gonna kill me. So basically, shout out to you guys, because you're awesome, but shout out to all the techies, because you guys are my family, and I always feel at home when I'm with you guys. So shout out to all of you. And I also want to give a shout out to Dustin Barbary. I know he's not going to be at the picnic to see this or anything, but he and I met through theater, so I wouldn't have met him if I hadn't come here. Definitely shout out to Evan, because Evan Hill is the reason I joined theater. Shout out to all of the teachers, Mr. Calvert, Ms. Peplow, Ms. B when she was here, Mr. Book, Mr. Bristow. You guys are so inspirational, and you influenced me so much. You're great teachers, so thanks so much for all of that. And just shout out to everyone in theater, because no matter whether you're an actress, a techie, an actor, you guys are all my family. So thanks so much for a great 4 years.